I was finally able to try Marvel Tokon thanks to the open beta. And while I thought it was fun and it has a lot of potential, there's a couple things I was not a fan that I would like to talk about. But before that, we gotta at least mention how this was one of the worst fighting game betas I ever tried when it comes to performance on PC, which is something that you probably heard already. I was able to play the game at high graphics and with good FPSs, thankfully, but the optimization was so bad it caused so many players to not be able to try the game, and in a lot of cases, refound it. Hope this doesn't happen for release though, I really hope so. Now, let's talk about the gameplay of Marvel Tokon. So to start talking about the negative things about the game, I think I want to talk about the roster actually. And no, I don't dislike the characters. I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm actually playing this because it's a fighting game, so I don't really care. But one thing that I noticed from the gameplay perspective, the game feels way too casual. I feel like if you're a fighting game player, and you want to play Marvel Tokon, it feels like you really need to play certain characters to have fun, because otherwise the roster feels like extremely like simple. The only characters that feel like they have some sort of like high skill ceiling that you can learn, I think is like Green Goblin, Doom, Black Panther, and Spidey, and actually Storm. Like, I feel like everyone else just feels like extremely easy to play. So they don't really feel like fighting in characters to me. So one of my biggest issues that I had with the game while playing it this weekend is actually the fact that like sometimes it feels like the tagging feels very slow. For example there, it's like, you guys check my inputs, right? Like, see how long it takes for me to tag? I feel like that's like very annoying. This is something that I feel like they have to change, honestly. I just feel like the game will feel better for me if I could just like tag when I actually wanna tag and not 2-3 seconds later, you know? Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about something that I think is pretty important for the future of this game, and it's the fact that the game doesn't really have mechanics except assemble smash and the variants of assemble. So it's like it's one mechanic that has many layers. So you have the assemble smash, which is an overhead and it's kind of like the offensive version of this. Then you have the aerial version, which is really good against zoning. So for example, if someone is zoning you and you jump and you use this, you're gonna evade the projectile and get them. So this is really useful if you're struggling against zoning. Then you have the defensive option, and then you have the classic get off me, and then these two versions, which is like I'm gonna counter your mechanic with mine. And this is something very important for the future of the game, because the only defensive mechanic of this game is reactable. I feel like in the future the offense is gonna be really strong because we are going to know how to play the game properly, and the game is not gonna give you much to defend yourself. Doing defense in this game is gonna be very bad if they don't add like another type of defensive mechanic soon, I feel like. I'm very surprised that this game doesn't have a break mechanic, for example like in XKO. It's very weird because this game actually has very long combos, and they want to appeal the casuals, and casuals always complain about combos being long in fighting games. So I'm very surprised that this game doesn't have a break, but either way, I feel like it should have. It's actually fun to see very long combos, but I feel like there's situations where it's like, it would have been nice to break this in this specific moment of the match. Also, another thing that I dislike is when you're using this mechanic in a match, look at my bars, right? If I use my defensive mechanic, boom, it goes away. So it costs, in theory, it costs 10% out of your bar and your whole bar is 30, okay? So if I do the defensive mechanic, boom, that goes away, right? But I noticed then while playing matches is that you can keep matching this. Like if I have 0, I can literally keep using the defensive mechanic. I have to actually manage this resource? Not really, because it's like I have no meter and I can, you know, keep doing this. Like I did it in matches too. What's the point of having a mechanic attached to a bar if you can keep going and going. In this situation, I should not be able to use the mechanic and I should get punished 100% like in any other fighting game. Another thing that I realized that feels a bit weird is actually how fast the assists come back, which is also in the line of what I said earlier of the game not really punishing you if you don't know how to manage your resources. So we're just gonna mash all the assists and you guys are gonna notice that I'm gonna get them right away. There you go. The game doesn't really care or punishes you for doing a bad call, really. Like, you're gonna get your assist back again pretty fast either way. And I noticed this in matches too, where it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use Magneto here, for example, right? Oh, I have him again. Since I have 3 assists, my brain was like, okay, I'm gonna use Magneto here, and then he's gonna have a decent amount of cooldown, so I'm gonna have to manage between just using magic and doom. But as you guys can see here, like, he comes back super fast right away. And again, this game has 3 assists, not 1. I feel like it's so much, and in neutral, it feels like just like a spam of assists because of the cooldown being 0. I feel like it's something that they have to fix. They actually have to like make the game in general feel like my decisions matter for the good and also the bad. If I use the assist in a moment that I shouldn't, okay, fuck Magneto, I'm not gonna be able to use him for a little bit. Another issue that I have with the game is actually the DP input. So most of the characters have the same inputs for the specials, and obviously one of those is the DP input. I feel like in this game, in actual matches, these two get very confused. You want to do DP input and you get this one, or you want to do this one and you get DP input. Like, it's very strange. The inputs don't work really well. So I think this is a very big issue and something that we have to point it out. Another thing that personally I don't like about this game is actually the wake up option. I'm not talking about the game having rolls or something like that, but like the Invul frames that happen while you're waking up. So I'm gonna put Iron Man down and then see for how long he has Invul frames. I feel like the reason why this is so annoying is because, like, once you're doing the pressure, it feels like the game stops for a bit. And yeah, Invul frames on wake up happens in every fighting game, right? It's a normal thing, but I think in this game it takes way longer compared to other fighting games. So it's like you're doing a combo, right? So we're gonna do a combo. It's like we finally got ahead, we're doing our combo, blah blah blah. And then boom, I missed the hit because of the Invul frames. You're gonna get punished a lot against wake up mash just because of the Invul frames being so long. I think they should reduce a bit the amount of Invul frames that you have. To conclude, I think Marvel Tokon splits the fighting community, since I've seen many people praising the gameplay but also a lot of people hating it. Personally, I think the game is fun and it has a lot of potential, and with a couple changes, it can be a really good fighting game. I'm excited to try characters like Storm, Doom, Green Goblin more in depth once I get the chance to play the game on release. Either way, I feel like this game is gonna do well regardless because of its casual appeal, being pretty, having family-friendly level of entry, and obviously being a Marvel game. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Let me know if you agree with my points about the things that I feel like they should change about the game, or if you think there's other things that they should change to make the game better that I didn't mention. Either way, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys the next time. Bye bye everyone.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.